What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and the cryptocurrency world, where we feel like cryptocurrency is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, and it's not even close. So, welcome along. We're pumped to have you guys. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, and just enjoying this beautiful day with you guys where we're going to use crypto as that wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. And it's just exciting times as we're kind of winding down the year here. And hopefully we have what's called Uptober. And Uptober would mean some green candles for everybody, obviously starting with BTC. And it would just be phenomenal to go right into Christmas with massive green candles following into 2024, where we feel like that's where we can really get some generational wealth if we play our cards just right. And today's our favorite show. We have the open mic day. So guys, Dana dropped the StreamYard link in the chat. Please come on and let's chat. Let's talk about anything Pulsechain. It could be anything crypto in general, macro, real estate, whatever you want. Come on in and let's wrap it up some.
Absolutely. And let me grab. Okay, cool.
And am I breaking up, Dane? My chance? Is my internet all right?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I think you're good.
Cool.
I think you're good. Let me grab. So one of the things that I've been thinking about, we can talk about this, is just the way that that the PH ecosystem works together with PHUX, with Fiat, and with Fame. In fact, if you look at, let me see if I can find the Twitter post. I thought this was really interesting. All right. Where is it? Maybe I won't be able to find it here quickly. But one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting, the Fame guys were touting that I think they're top 15, top 10 in right now in the current market in volume and fees and cash flow created in the protocol and all of crypto, I think it was, which is pretty remarkable.
That is remarkable, man. I also saw they got done by a llama.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So that means more exposure for Fame, but just as importantly, maybe not more important, but just as importantly, more exposure to the Pulse ecosystem. And that's what we need here, guys. We just need, a bunch of toys over here for everyone to, be interested in coming over. So I feel like we're building in a way where we have something for everyone. And that's the key, right? We want to have something for everyone to come over and be interested and want to participate in this ecosystem. It started out with the meme coins. B-Roots has done a good job bringing in other communities playing these meme coins. The rumor is, I have not verified, but like the P-Dye, the initial start of that was done by the XRP community. I don't know how true it is, but that's pretty cool if it's true. And so we're going to continue seeing this, and we want this, and this is how all our bags will be pumped next year, by having all these people in here doing daily transactions. They have to buy Pulse if they want to participate, and they'll probably end up staying a while, at least a lot of them. There'll be some that'll go back to where they came from, and maybe they were never really that interested, in Pulse off, or they were trying to come over and make a quick dollar. You'll have some of that, but you're going to have some that will stay. And there's people who participate in many ecosystems and many protocols. They're not maxis. And so that's why we want to make sure that we promote the anti-maximalism as best as we can, even though it's sort of needed, like small subset is sort of needed, and we have that. We have probably more than we need. but we want to make sure that the majority feel like of our community has to have an open mind and be willing to let other communities in and come and participate in protocols. And I feel like we're just building toys for every kind of personality that's out there, and that's crucial for our system to evolve.
Absolutely.
There's Norbert.
Hello,
What's up,
hello.
Norbert?
Sorry, I'm just reversing. Let me do this first.
No,
You okay, guys?
Yeah, we're doing great, man. It's good to have you on.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was waiting to be here for sure. How was your week?
It was
Good.
great, man.
We've been gone for the last week-ish. We came back and started streaming yesterday. We were out in Florida at a real estate event, and that's where we have the last Friday open mic day, and so wanted to make sure we got on today for sure.
In your property group, do you have people from UK, United Kingdom, or London?
Not at these events. Not for the most part. I mean, the one that we were at, it was more than just real estate. I would go as far as saying it was an entrepreneur, and like there was billionaires talking on stage that ran worldwide businesses. And so there were people at this particular event that were from around the world, but most of the real estate events we go to are very United States focused. In fact, a lot of them are even more niche. It's a niche of a niche. So you have real estate and like subsets in real estate, like you have fix and flipping, you have wholesaling, you have buy and hold. Most of the events that we go to are wholesaling, just because that's in Dane's background. And so it's a niche of a niche, which you really don't have anything outside of the United States when you're going to the particular events.
And now we need to ask your secretary to book us into if you want to have if you want to talk to you, because you're too busy onboarding famous people and celebrities.
We're trying, man. We're doing our best. We're doing our best. That's the whole purpose
Well done, man. Well done.
These events. We go to these events to onboard. I mean, that's the main purpose, to get people into our group too, because we want to be able to build the most robust, biggest, badasses of entrepreneurs in our group. Obviously teach them crypto, but that way also when it comes time to kind of get out of crypto, we have plenty of guys doing deals, apartment syndications, funds, and that way we have a place where we can place our money when the time is right to preserve that wealth. And so we're just on a mission to grow this group to 1,000 entrepreneurs in the group. So that way we know our money, and whoever goes on this ride with us, the money will be treated very well. So it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's this thing?
Corey had an opportunity to talk to the Hulk at the last event briefly about Pulsechain. So that was fun. The opportunities are big. Had a billionaire shout Corey out from the stage, which was really cool. I mean, there's some really cool things coming. We're working hard, and I think the market, I'm telling you, I think for onboarding in general, I think the market's going to carry everyone next year. Everybody gets more excited when there's some momentum, and most people don't want to buy the bottom. They want to get in when everybody else is already excited, and I think that'll be next year. So big opportunities coming. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's interesting because both sides has challenges. When you onboard someone when there are green candles, now when I'm talking to those guys, they are like kind of crying on my shoulder, like, oh, look at the hex price, like what we're gonna do. And I'm like, well, make the most of it, try to do your best. And these guys obviously who are like trying to onboard at the lowest of the lows, then they are like, oh, why should I buy this one? Like, it's gonna go lower, or what's going on here?
Right. It could be
But
tricky.
recently, the good thing, recently it looks like we created kind of like a floor. Like prices are pretty much stabilizing. Pulsex around a lot of zeros and one, PLS a lot of zeros and four. So it's kind of like fairly stable on that level.
It looks like a bottom to me. I mean, I'm no TA guy, but man, if you want to talk about what capitulation looks like and just kind of market exhaustion, I mean, Pulse and PulseX kind of look like a stable coin for the last 3 months or 2 months, whatever it is. It's just resized, kind of. It's market exhaustion, and I think the sellers are kind of done selling. There could be a little bit more, of course, but yeah, it looks really good to me.
Agreed.
But they also, I was listening some Hungarian guys. They fairly well-known channel and they know what they're talking about. The guy was saying that we should really do like a realistic expectation, because majority of the cryptos which had all-time highs, let's say in 2021, they might never reach those levels, because what happened was that it was like a not once in a lifetime event, but like a rare opportunity when you have a when different criterias meet each other, when you have VC money coming in, and when you have like the FOMO kicks in as well, so then because all these adding up together at the same time, that's why we got those huge green dildos, which might not happen in the future for majority of the cryptos, because it's a bit tricky. It's very very uncertain. Everything is so uncertain, so probably people are gonna be like more cautious the way how they invest and what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at something like Hex that just absolutely crushed it this last cycle, I mean, some of the parameters. Now, Hex did most of its run without these last few things, but like the last big push on the Hex price chart was the idea of a sacrifice and removing Hex supply from the market. And so you saw people buying it up, which gave it that last big push to a 10,000X. Is Richard going to have another event near the top of the next cycle to give it another push? I don't know, but I think it's important to consider those things, why it did what it did, instead of a lot of these people. I mean, you see it on Twitter, right? A lot of these people just assuming that all-time highs are guaranteed. And we're all hopeful. You know what I mean? I'm really hopeful. But if you are building your bags around something that hasn't happened for many cryptocurrencies, where their second time around, they didn't necessarily get to all-time highs, you leave yourself in a position where you could be really heavily disappointed. So things to consider as you're building your bags.
Yep, 100%. Now, on that point, that's why I really love Pulse, is because technically, even though some of the liquidity, this is the second cycle through Pulse because people sacrifice Hex and there's an argument to be had there, but the coin itself and the protocol itself is in a cycle. And so that's why I just keep building the node validators. Pulse is my favorite out of all RH assets. And maybe Hex does better than Pulse. I don't know. Maybe even PulseX surprises everybody and does better than Pulse. But my bet is on Pulse, and that's what I feel like will.
I have a good suggestion for you, because I was thinking of you. I'm always doing research and trying to see new options how to grow. And I found this site called sparkswap.xyz. I don't want to share anything, but what I'm started doing, because I keep hearing you that, oh, I want to build my pause, and then you put the bug into my ears. I was like, he might be right about this one. So what I've done is I've moved majority of my pause to SparkSwap, and they have a single-sided staking pool, so you can put your pools in there and 100% APR. The only downside is that you pay 4% to go in and 4% to go out. which means 8%. So divided by 12 because it's 100% the yearly thing. So about a month you lose. After a month you start becoming profitable. But what I'm doing is that whatever I earn, and it's a decent chunk, then I claim those Spark tokens, swap it for Rep PLS, and then put it back. So I'm compounding the bag what I have.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I like those guys too because they come from the Pulsechain, and they're building a on ramp or a bridge directly from BSC over to Pulsechain, which is so effing cool. So like BSC is their home, and then they're coming over here to play, and they launched a call like let's link these together, and I think it is so effing cool that we're seeing other communities come over and do this. And we're going to see more of this, more and more and more. And that's why, to my point earlier, when we first got on the show, we need to have open arms and, have the open mindset to let these communities in and to let them do what they want to do. If they want to degen, fine. If they want to build Pulsechain, fine. Some people are going to come in and build scams and rug pulls, but guess what? That's just the nature of the beast of crypto. It's what we're in.
Part of the deal, yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you to do your due diligence. No matter what, there's always going to be scams and rug pulls. And so it's just overall, the adoption is beautiful. And especially, think about it. All this is happening in the middle of the bear market when is at all-time low. And I knew Sloth was going to come on because I wore the Hedron shirt. I wore the Hedron.
You know how to get me to come on stream, Corey. It's no secret at this point. How's it going, gentlemen?
What's up, Sloth?
Yeah, all good, buddy. All good. Nice to have you.
Yeah, man. Glad to be. I don't think I've caught one of these in a while, so I'm glad I had a little bit of time today. No school. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of? There's a couple of guys in the chat asking about Minu. Let's see. I can pull up the chart.
I got a small bag of it.
Caught a little bit.
Which one?
Yeah, it's part of my experimental. I'm doing experimental degen meme coin buying and selling right now. A lot of memes. And I'm doing okay with it. And this is one of the bags I own, but I don't put very much in. It's like anytime I get into meme coin, it's like $50. I get in it, and then I do the whole law of memes, like B Roots talks about, selling on a double. So I sell on a double, then I wait for a 3x, and then I take out profit, and then another 3x, take out profit. And each time I take a profit out, it's like 50% of the bag. And so far, it's doing well, which means that Pulsechain has its own little bull run right now. In the meme coins, especially, we're just seeing all these meme coins pump. And as long as the big daddies are pumping, which are, PDI and Tropa, a lot of these smaller ones tend to follow too. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And going back to your previous point, like this cross chains and adoption and connecting more and more people who are on different chains. There was I don't remember exactly. There was a really smart guy the other day who made like a breakdown what's happening on each chain, how many transactions there are, how many people there are, and Pulsechain is quite high, in numbers like users and volumes and things like that. So if you look at the whole crypto market, is quite divided. It's not like a united army. Let's say you have some people on Polygon, you have some people on, like Solana or whatever. All of these chains. But imagine if they realize that more and more of these financial products coming out, or meme tokens, degen type of things, and then the transactions are fast, secure, and also there are smart people in the community. I think we have a winning combination here, and really good things coming next year. That's what my feeling is, and analysis at the moment. The way how I see things.
It's really a great point, man. And the pH stuff, man, that's a good example. And actually, I think it's a pH merge, because like I feel like Sloth is doing such a good job on the H stuff now that like I can wear a PH shirt and it would do the same effect as wearing the Hedron shirt.
Yeah, I guess I'm expanding the content outside of Hedron and Icosa for now. Get known for some other things.
You have, man, and you've done a really good job in all the PA protocols, really tying in all the game theory and how they can work together and how people can make money with them, right?
Yeah.
No financial advice, of course. None of us are financial. We only speculate. You can sell all your bags for all I care.
I can just professionally fix your teeth. I can't help you with your money.
We cannot help with money.
Yeah, I mean, what Buck and their team has provided us is just amazing opportunity, not just from the money side, but like from the influencer side, like me, where there's just so many things to talk about. Just within their 3 protocols alone, there's so many ways you can combine them in terms of like leveraging your coins, making your assets more productive if they were just going to be held in your wallet anyways. There's a lot of cool stuff happening over there. And so, I've been writing articles, got a bunch of video ideas, so a lot more coming. And especially with the more stuff that are being launched, as each thing launches, there's a whole new way to connect it with every single node that gets made in our little network effective Pulsechain.
Yep. What's really going to be fun, look, Dane has no pants on either, guys, just for the record. It's not just Sloth. What's really going to be fun, man, when Tetra launches, and then you're able to write like all the scripts basically that connect all that together with all 3 of those, because they work so well. They're like the synergy between all 3 of them. And man, I can't wait to see what your brain comes up with when Tetra launches, so I can go in there and look at the Sloth menu and then like, oh, that one looks good. And then plug and play.
They can't make too many. I'm going to start overwhelming people. I got to keep it simple.
You got to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can picture Sloth with like a massive screen, and then with like this digital globes and like pulling down like charts and things like that. Yeah. So if you talk about this section,
pretty much. I mean, even like something like I just talked about with the video I put out, like the yield arbitrage stuff, just between like fiat and PHUX. Just if you just limit it to those 2, right? You can make scripts theoretically that like track the different APYs on the liquidity pools and then the collateralize the borrower amount, and you can have it automatically like adjust positions for you or close them out if the arbitrage goes away, if the APRs close the gap, stuff like that. So it's I think the possibilities are going to be endless once we get Tetra.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Yeah. Wow. It can automatically switch the protocol or the pool or maybe the asset that you're maybe lending against. If that's automated by the APRs and maybe the amount of liquidity, it's wild to me, the possibilities that can be created out of that. It's even hard to wrap my brain around it completely. You know what I mean? Until I see all of it. And got a lot of big brains who will be in there poking around. I mean, it's just gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Have you guys seen? It looks like 9-inch. Let me go ahead and share this. I think this is exciting. So it looks like the 9-inch guys. They're going to be a V3 fork of Uniswap, which will be the first one to Pulsechain.
Oh, real quick, I don't think that's the 9-inch team. 9mm is different than 9-inch.
Oh, these guys are different.
Yeah, these are different guys.
And in fact, let's talk about this for a split. This protocol, if you want their token, you have to go mint their NFTs to be able to get the NFTs will get the token distributed to them in the future. And so the NFTs are basically a passive income NFT. And it's the only way basically you could, I guess, sacrifice for this protocol. And so, yeah, really, really cool protocol. Making a block explorer. They have a DEX coming. And so super exciting for this team.
Yep. And each NFT is $1 million Pulse to mint right now.
Yeah. Pulse OG is the name of the NFT. I minted a bunch of them. My little stupid meme coin experiment that I'm doing paid for it.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, right. Like I got some free NFTs, and it's like now some free 9mm. I mean, these guys got a lot on the roadmap, And if they can pull it off, man, it's looking really, really attractive. And here we see, they didn't even recognize that. You see, we got new protocols coming out all the time out of the woodwork that's creating something new and innovative on Pulsechain. I mean, I've never been more bullish in my life. I know you guys keep hearing me say that every single show, and you probably get bored of it. But man, this is another good example of something new coming out that's got some good stuff up its sleeve.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think it's important, since Pulsechain is a fork of Ethereum, I think you need all the things over there that people are comfortable and used to using. I think it's really important to have all that stuff over here. And it's cool to see the teams launching these different things. I feel like the tide's gone out, or the tide's come in, and it's about to go out once the Fetch Oracle launches. It sounds like that'll be sometime next month, which is right around the corner, and we will see relatively quickly who is wearing pants when the tide goes out. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be pretty.
We'll see who's actually wearing pants, unlike us, Dan.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think having a V3 DEX is huge on Pulse. And this is actually something unique to Pulsechain that I don't see on too many other places at the very least. Well, I guess SushiSwap kind of has it, and I guess Phantom kind of has it now. But like the fact that PulseX is V2, we have liquidity for all of our RH assets from 0 to infinity, because most of the liquidity is over there. And if you guys remember back when Hex was about 7 to 8 cents, the price wanted to go up higher, like kept bouncing out into like a low liquidity range and then coming back in. And no one was providing liquidity between like 8 cents and 20 cents, even though the price was like trying to get up higher. So like no one wanted to eat that slippage or push the price up, because they're just going to be losing money that way for the most part. And probably nobody with sufficient capital really wanted to take a risk on that, basically pushing the Hex price up. But if you have a V3 DEX that's on top of a V2 DEX, well, those liquidity gaps that exist in a V3 system are filled in by the V2 system, because the liquidity spread out from 0 to infinity. So the probability that we have price stopping because liquidity is thin within certain ranges is lower, because aggregators like Pitius will route through the pools that are best. So when we get into those low liquidity zones that exist on V3, the trades will start routing through PulseX. And if for those of you guys that have been around or listened to me and Axis when we were talking a lot about liquidity, most of Hex's gains happened on V1 and V2 of Uniswap. And that was because you couldn't have people coming in, putting huge blocks of liquidity in really tight ranges to slow the price action down. And you didn't have very low liquidity gaps between where people were pushing their position.
Yeah.
So having a combination of V2 and V3, you kind of get the best of both worlds, where you can play like the extract fees very quickly by having narrow ranges, buying and selling with LP, but also you don't lose the price appreciation benefits of a V2 system, where you have a lot of the liquidity over on PulseX. So this is, I think, a really powerful dynamic that we have with Pulsechain, that Richard Hart, his things is a V2, and like we just have that as the foundation of LP. And then other people are going to be building V3 things where you can start messing with your positions a little bit more on a granular level.
Yeah, that's extremely powerful. And assuming that as long as we get sufficient liquidity in these new V3 protocols, and the liquidity is nice and evenly distributed, I guess I would say, between the V2 and V3, you have a nice synergy between all of it, man. That's exciting, because I would argue that Ethereum is in the bulk of its liquidity is in V3 now.
Yeah.
So
well, I think you saw that, right, on Uniswap with V3 pools. You saw the majority of liquidity flow that direction. Yep. It's an interesting dynamic where this time around, at least in Pulsex in its current form, like Sloth said, it's a V2, and a lot of people, us included, we believe in Richard. We like what Richard's building. And so it's sticky in that respect. It'll be interesting. Richard might come out with some V3 stuff on Pulsex in time. But if you have V3 stuff being built by other communities, instead of it being a simple outflow from a V2 to a V3 environment like on Uniswap, there will be some maximalism and some competition as far as communities are concerned, where that liquidity is sitting. And so you have, in my opinion, you have a higher likelihood of keeping liquidity in a V2 environment that's relatively robust, as well as having it on V3. And yeah, with Pitius, like you said, Sloth with a DEX aggregator, you could get the best of everything. That's fascinating.
Yep. And
And
I think
because they building, sorry.
No, go ahead, Norbert. I'll talk after you.
Because all these smart guys building these new protocols.
I like that comment. All these smart guys building new
Because you are
protocols.
so smart.
I agree.
When you say these things that more and more, the more and more things coming out, which means that we have another playground, let's say, to go and visit, which means that we have more liquidity. If we have more liquidity, then the bigger players can come in, and then it's not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm not gonna do this because there's too big a slippage and I don't want to do it, or the price is not right. Because on Ethereum, I hated it. It was like, what you could do Uniswap, and then what else you could do? There was like the other one, cow swap, but then that looked for me quite dodgy. I never trusted that thing. And then there was that matcha XYZ, and then when you had to do it was always complicated to do things or expensive. But over here, you can just be like, let's have a look what's going on here. You can go to Fox to change some tokens. Now you have done on the Spark swap. Then they're gonna have a DEXs, but even now you can change tokens. 9inch, they're gonna have their own liquidity pools, and you can also do stuff there. So it's just a winning card for for success.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah. What I was gonna say to your point, Dane, where there's a possibility, some sort of probability on Richard giving V3 onto Pulsex, but actually I wonder if that's maybe even not. I wonder if just leaving it how it is may just be the better move. Just because of the dynamic I just described. Just have that baseline liquidity on V2 as robust as possible, and then let the community have those other pockets of liquidity that can be routed through that exist on a V3 protocol. Right. I wonder if that might be the better scenario than having PulseX have a V3, because then people will pull their V2 liquidity and put it on V3, and then we get to a situation like we were on Uniswap. The only thing that would change it is, though, because it's hard to do incentive emissions on a V3 system. It is possible. I've seen some protocols do it. I don't imagine Richard would want to do anything that complicated. So maybe the farms stay on V2, which kind of solves that problem. And then it keeps some of the volume going through PulseX, which Richard does want because of buy and burn.
Right. That's an interesting point. Yeah, because if you keep V2 there to be able to fill in any gaps, you should keep the buy and burn volume pretty decent throughout.
Yeah.
Especially with the aggregators routing through it all. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Really interesting.
Well, I never thought of that. Yeah, I've never seen farms with a V3 protocol.
Yeah, I just saw one this past month, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I need to dive. I've actually found some really, really cool DeFi protocols around liquidity recently that I want to dive into more, and then maybe see if we can get them to give Pulsechain support.
Huh.
Yeah, just fork it, bro. Just fork it.
No, the one I'm thinking of, it's way too hard to fork. It's they have a PhD math guy from some Ivy League school who's done all the math on all the stuff. They're perps guys, futures and future traders, trading futures contracts and stuff. So they brought a lot of that math over. The one I'm thinking about is liquidity pools, and kind of the main headline of that is imagine you have a V3 position that's single-sided on one side or the other. Well, when you do that, you have an inherent price that you're willing to buy or sell that token at, where you can take advantage of that inherent presupposition and be able to utilize those tokens and those positions as leverage. And then basically the liquidations revolve around the intrinsic prices that you set those positions out. So it's if you have $5,000 of USDC on the Hex USDC V3 pool, well, then you can actually have a way for people to put collateral and take that USDC out of that position and use it as a leverage position. And you don't need a third-party liquidator. You can have it the collateral liquidate on its own, and not a third person come in and liquidate it for you. Yeah.
Huh.
It's really powerful, I think, for actually the place I think it can be used the most and the best is in the meme coin space, because now you can earn fees on doing single-sided positions on your meme coins, because when you provide liquidity, you're automatically getting paid an APY because people are borrowing with your protocol with your coins. And so I think that would be a good thing for the meme coin people to have, where it's like, hey, put your things in this DEX at whatever price you want to sell at, and then other people can use that as for their trading liquidity in the first place. And I think with grassroots community like the Tang Gang is the one I'm thinking of, for instance, like they could take that idea and just run with it. And you could really bootstrap liquidity in an incredibly powerful and efficient way with a protocol like Infinity Pools. I'm going to do more in-depth stuff on it my channel, but I just got to wrap my head around it more and explain it better.
That is fascinating. That is, so like the way I picture my head is like a Uniswap V3 coupled with a Fame or GM type tokenomic or lending. Yep. That's wild. I can't even like.
Yeah. I was so excited when I first found it. I like shut everything off, and for the next 3 hours, I listened to all the founders' stuff on 2x and just like over and over trying to understand it. It's very rare I get like that excited about things, but that's something I'm pretty excited about.
Have you had conversations with them yet?
Not yet. I'm going to understand it more, and I'm focusing, I've talked to you guys in the background, more on producing some of like the extra content, like lead magnets, articles. I'm kind of getting that base down before I start branching out into like building networks outside of in the greater DeFi space. It's on the docket for me.
Very cool. Huh. I like it. Do you guys have a strong opinion on Liquid Loans launch? K Crypto asks, will LL hold up or be sold off like all sacks? Start with you, Sloth. Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, so I guess there are a couple ways we can tackle that. We now have some data on which sacks have done well and which ones haven't, and the parameters by which a successful sack has gone is less money, less people, limited time, right? So, and this is consistent with Metcalfe's law, where it's like the price appreciation comes from the increase in network effect or the increase in the number of people that go. So if you start smaller, you do good marketing, people are like, oh, I can't get in. Now I can't get in, price go up. And that's the model that the PH people have done, and they've done very well on it. And that's also the model that Tetra has done to a lesser degree, to a different degree, because they didn't have a SAC, they had a private funding round, but the concept is still the same. And so when we see things like Liquid Loans, they've done the opposite, where they raise a lot of money and let as many people in as possible. So if we're going by that, just by that paradigm, just by that heuristic, then it'll probably be sold off because there's the valuation's high, people are finally getting liquidity, and then they're going to sell their loan token to unlock some of that liquidity again. Now, that may not happen, right? Like, it's not a guarantee. This is just using previous data to predict what might happen. It is possible that Liquid Loans does so well off the jump, and then that the fees generated for the loan protocol staking, because people want to unlock liquidity in their Pulse through USDL, that maybe it's able to hold up some more. Like a high APR rate could potentially incentivize people to come in and buy the token up if it's like triple digits or something like that at the beginning. So there are ways for it not to happen. And I think this is actually the first time we're going to get a SAC that's non-RH stuff that has a large, because this is the biggest SAC fundraise. So this will be another data point to test the heuristic that I just talked about to see how well it does. That's kind of my opinion on it. And that's like a non-opinion, but that's my thoughts on it.
I'm unfortunate to give you one more bearish narrative. My thoughts. What was the price of Hex during the loan sacrifice?
It was pretty high. I don't remember what it was, but it was double digits.
20 30 cents, right?
So one of the biggest reasons we done so hard in Pulse and PulseX is because people used Pulse and PulseX as a liquidity from their Hex, 1000X, whatever bag of Hex they had back then. I love the narrative that people said, "Oh, you sacrificed your Hex and you missed bear market." Well, now the bear market's here from that. They were able to, basically just fast forward in time and then dump their bag, during the bottom of the bear. Well, the Liquid Loans, if people are sacrificing Hex at 25 cents, I got news for you. Hex got a penny. They're able to pull that value out now at 25 cents. That's something to really think about. We've already happened once. So
yeah,
we'll see. And I hate the idea, right? I sacked for Liquid Loans, and I even idiot or like a pleb, because I was a pleb then, I locked my coins up for 2 years. And I did a pretty good sized sack too. I'm like, I just have that money back and go buy Pulse. Or maybe I would have sacked a little bit. Nah, I probably wouldn't. I'd wait for the sell off.
A couple of things they do have going for them, and you've got to weigh these. Yeah. I mean, a couple of things they do have going for them, and you've got to weigh these against themselves and determine what you think will occur. But I believe it's pretty significant. I think it's like 40 to 50% of the supply. Everyone that sacrificed, 40 to 50% of the supply is pushed out at least a year before it'll unlock. So there should be less supply to dump in that respect. And it's good if that stuff starts coming out, on a bull run and people are excited and feeling like price is going to go up more. They're more likely to hold it than they are to go and sell it as soon as it's available to do whatever they're going to do with it. So you have that. And then in addition, you also they've come out with, I think it's like a 42-day staking or liquidity providing event in the early days where you can get additional bonuses for participating in that. So it's a reason for people to go and hold the token. But gosh, there's so much money sacrificed for it. That's one that I think will
be
catastrophic and helping.
Yeah, be ready to, recoup your sack if you're able to at the beginning, and then, whatever tokens you have left you can let ride. That's what I did for the fame sacrifice. I just took my sack out and then I staked the coins and then I just forgot about it. And I got my position and, risk-free basically.
Nice. That was a good approach.
Hey,
how about you, Norbert? Did you sacrifice for liquid loans? Oh, you're muted. Or at least we can't. Oh, yeah, you're muted.
No, sorry. Yeah. Since last time when you said the noise is coming in, I always mute myself.
You've been good. Appreciate that.
I was watching a sloth video the other day, and then I also, since I'm using more and more of these protocols, I'm thinking of one thing, which might sound bearish, and people are not going to like what I'm going to have to say. But look at, for example, liquid loans. That's a good example. Yeah, I sacrifice for it. I'm going to stake my loan token for sure. But since I'm a smaller player, I'm completely out of this getting a loan kind of system, because ideally you want a 10-to-1 ratio to be on the safer side. And because the minimum loan is $2,000, that means that my pools bag should worth 20 grand, which is not the case, because compared to what I sacrificed, I was expecting that it's going to do a bit better, but it's not, unfortunately. So for me, it's out of the question, number one. And number two, I watched Slope video the other day when he was breaking down the fame and fiat system, when he explained everything and stuff like that. But then it made me think that, okay, so if I want to use fame, for example, that means that I have to put down a collateral, as far as I understand, which has to be higher than what I'm borrowing. Over there, it has to be like 2-to-1 or something like that. So I have to put down at least double the amount, and then maybe I can get like half of it as a loan. But if I do that, then the way I look at my crypto portfolio, that every single token of mine is an employee. They all have to work. Everyone have to work day in, day out, because I'm working hard as well. So everyone has to work. It's no lazy ass over here. There's no lazy ass lying around like, it's just, I'm safe here in this MetaMask thing, like I'm next to the fox, it's nice and warm, the fur is soft, No. You go out, you make me money. As simple as that. So if I do that, then, if you dig deeper, then you can find other protocols where you can put down, like I said earlier, the Spark Swap, you can put down, there are risks involved, of course, but use the ideology that, you only risk as much as you can afford to lose. So if I use my whole entire 100% bag of Who's bag and leaving some for gas, I can gain more by having all those guys working for me, rather than giving someone my entire Who's bag, let's say, and then I can get some as a loan and use that percentage only of that entire bag. I don't know what you think about this, gentlemen. Am I getting it right, or am I too pessimistic, or does it make sense?
No, I like it. I think you're making a lot of sense. I think I like your analogy of all of your little workers needing to go to work each day. I think it's a really cool idea. I think the hard thing is that but now you've got to manage the workers, right? And that's where you've got to determine how much management do you want to be in charge of over the workers? What is your risk tolerance? What are your health factors on something like fiat? How much leverage you're willing to take on if you're doing a leverage trade on Fame. And so that's the part that's really interesting to me. Some people, I was talking with one of our friends the other day, and he comes up with all these really cool strategies and opportunities. And so I'm trying to understand how he's coming up with all these. And the answer and reason he's able to come up with them is because he pretty well sits in front of his computer all day, every day, and is in there looking at what's going on the blockchain, and so he can find these opportunities, and I think that's cool. He loves it, right? And he's doing some really cool things because of it. I'm not somebody that wants to do that. I don't care to sit in front of my computer looking at the blockchain all day. I don't want that level of management, and so it's cool.
No. You're too busy. You got family, you got businesses. You don't need that kind of hustle. But at the same time, that's why I like
figure out the balance for you. Yeah, that
that's
works.
that's why I like PHUX, for example. You go there, it doesn't take like you just go through the list. Okay, so what is available here? All right, I start using the protocol, and then like you don't need to take profit every day. Normally I just look at it. Oh yeah, it's growing again, and then maybe once a week I take the money out, and then I decide throughout that week what I was watching. Oh, Tetra is on discount, and it has huge potentials. Let's use some of it and buy some Tetra. And on SparkSwap, I'm just keep putting back, keep swapping it for PLS, keep going back more PLS, more PLS, more. So the bag itself is growing, and then next day is the compounded interest is higher. So if you do these two, you don't even need anything else. The liquid loans kind of stuff, it comes into play for the bigger players, people who has bigger bags, a lot of money, and they want to use this for their tax benefits, because in certain countries, I'm not a tax advisor, but I heard that in certain countries, if you take a loan out and then you make a gain on it, then you either don't pay tax or it's like lower because you took out a loan technically. So the only downside is if you get liquidated, then you are in trouble because you have to pay tax on that as well. But yeah, I think the liquid loans is going to be for bigger players, not for smaller guys. The loan side of it, of course, if you have loan token and you want to stake it and earn some of it and then get the USDL and then put it in the stability pool, you can do that. But yeah, taking loan out for smaller guys, I don't think is going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you bring up a good point with the Tetra stuff, where if you can make your own personalized script to do the compounding for you, especially if you have one of the more hands-off, lower risk strategies, which would be really nice. Because I know for me, as I've upped my security over time, hardware wallet, separate computer, etc., it's actually really hard to get to my crypto. Like my main crypto holdings, like where I have most of my coins and whatnot, it actually takes quite a bit of time and quite a bit of effort to get to it. And sometimes I'll be like for instance, like I still need to put my coins in the main stable coin on Fux over to the CST one, because it's paying better. And honestly, I like the idea of having more exposure to CST than the bridged assets overall. I just haven't done it because I don't want to pull up my damn computer. like I'm just eating the extra 10% APY because I've just been too lazy to do it. So at least with Tetra, when you set all this stuff up in the background, the compounding is happening for you, which I think is going to be one of my favorite parts.
We're excited for Tetra. Those guys have been doing a great job. Shout out to those guys and giving weekly updates on what's going on with their protocol and their Telegram group. A lot of these guys that you guys know, a lot of these guys have been MIA. They haven't been sharing much information, if any. And I think it's frustrating for a lot of people. So shout out to the Tetra team. Shout out to Stu. I feel like they've done a pretty good job in communicating and keeping everybody abreast of what's going on. They haven't given really specific time frames, which I think is the right way to go about things, because you just don't know when you're building technology what issues you can run into, which could cause problems with timing and delays and whatnot. So we are excited for Tetra. In fact, I got my I was really patient with Tetra, and I was able to buy pretty freaking close to the bottom more recently, which is good. So that's been nice.
Yeah, it's pretty low at the moment. It's a good buy for sure.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
And what's really cool about Tetra is that it's not a fork. This is like built from the ground up.
Ground up,
Yeah.
ground up. Yeah, like an
Built
EV, you know, like a ground up EV, you know, like it's much better than
Right.
a car which was
With-
used as a hybrid before and then.
Not only new tech, but new ideologies, or a new idea. It's like a new business, right? A brand new business that no one ever seen before, that no one's ever done. It's creative. It's a new concept, and that's what makes Sleeper.
And it solves the big problem for people like Dane and, you know, so many people out there who doesn't have time, you know. So that's the
how do you make money in real
best.
life? This ain't always in crypto, but in real life, the way you make money is by solving problems. That's how you make
Every business is successful who is solving problems, or the first advantage for first, you know, being first in line. You know, no one ever done it before, so you are the first one, and there you go.
Yep. So it's super, super exciting for Tetra. When they pull this off, man, what's the market cap of Tetra now? Anyone know?
Oh, geez.
Pretty low.
I would love to know that number.
I mean, yeah, like the serviceable market, or the market for Tetra is literally every single crypto user. Like literally every single crypto user, every single DeFi user, like Tetra, you know, is applicable for. And so it's not just like a RH Pulsechain hex thing. Like and it's great for Pulsechain because literally all these things that are getting built can have people. So here's the great thing for it. Once it's built out and then new protocols are launching, part of the marketing can be like, hey, we built these Tetra scripts for our stuff already plugged in, and then you can just do all this stuff automatically. So it's like a good even marketing. It create good marketing for anybody that comes online afterwards.
Tom said it's 5.4 million.
0.4.
Guys, Hex was a 5 million market cap when it launched. Just think about that. Think about that for a minute.
There's some potential there.
Also, there is another potential, and I would like to do it in live show, guys. I have an offer for you. Why don't we sit down, and if you want to do it, I'm not sure how much time you got for these things, but why don't we come up with the idea how we could get a use case for the incentive token. If anyone would come up with that idea to get a use case for the incentive token, that would push the price up. And then if the price is going up of the incentive token, then all the protocol is going to go up because the Pulsex is going to be used more, which is going to raise the Pulsex price as well. The system going to get used, so that puts up the Pulse price as well. And I don't think that anyone is doing anything with the incentive token right now. It's just like a dumb token, you know, like, and if you look at again, I'm going back to Spark Swap, but we can learn a lot from other people. What they do is, instead of, because I was in other DeFi protocols before, like Drip and stuff like that, and now it's like below below. And you have to have some sort of use case for whatever incentive token you have, whatever yield token you have to have some use case for it. If not, then it's going to be solved to oblivion, and then, you know, it's not going to be any price appreciation and no FOMO, no green candles. So what do you think, guys?
It's a cool idea. You'd have to build something, you know, you're building a protocol into a token that has immense sell pressure. And you'd have to find a way to try to mitigate some of that. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. I love that idea. I think it's cool.
The reason why like a protocol would do it is basically as a marketing tool to say, hey, you know, hey, liquidity providers over PHUX, you can come over to my thing and then take the token you're earning over there, plug it into my thing to unlock the value that we're creating, basically. So it's a way to go ahead and like jumpstart the network effect of your protocol by advertising to the basically PLSX farmers. Which there could be value in that, right? Like if you want to plug directly into the Hex, Pulsechain, RH community stuff, the core of it, that would be one way to do it. I think there was something else I wanted to say. With that. Oh yeah, I do have a speculation personally that I think at some point in the future, like if RH starts building out extra stuff that has like fees or whatever it is, I think the incentive token is the one that makes the most sense to plug it into new stuff. So I think he has that lever in place to use whenever it's time for him to be more public and more active in terms of development. And so that's pretty much what you're speculating on with the incentive token right now, to get that position for whenever that occurs, if that ever occurs.
Brizology, can you comment? Do you have confirmation of this, or you ever hear RH say this is what's going to happen?
It's just assumption.
I
see a slim chance for doing that, to be honest. He's very busy. He needs to deal with all this SEC shit and stuff like that. So even if that's going to happen one day, it's not going to be in the next 6 months, I would say. So that is a big window. 6 months is a long time.
And that's fine, because if it did really happen 6 months, a year from now, it gives you a lot of time, human blood, why it's got no use case, right? You could really buy it up or farm it easily. No, it's just what he wants. Me too, Brizology. Me too. I do have a not large bag of the incentive token, but I've been farming. I still have a small farm. I've left it in there since basically the Pulsechain launched. And I'm just living in there. It's a small little farm. I got a little drip coming in every single day. And I'm going to keep it there. That's what it's there for. It's there just to accumulate my little token for any, hopefully, speculation. I'm not, I've got a lot of money there, but it's to speculate one day there will be something. That's all it is. So I'm going to keep accumulating slowly that bag. I'm going to definitely, it's priority, never will be. I like my pulse validator. Like my pulse validator is a priority. That's number one.
Yeah. I will say one more thing on that. The flip side to what I was saying, to you're marketing to the greater RH community and whatnot. But the flip side, the downside to that is now you have basically whales or people with a lot of economic energy whose incentives aren't necessarily aligned with your protocol, having power in your protocol. So you have to ask yourself, is the marketing effect of getting users through that mechanism worth people who maybe don't have the best interest of what you're building, have actual power in the system?
Yep. Very well said.
Yeah, or just create rules or like a gameplay when the smaller guys is more beneficial. To do. I don't know. I haven't thought about all this, but yeah, you bring up good points.
Yeah. Thanks.
And Brizology, I would go. You say Ink looks like a stable coin. I would go to argue that Pulsechain, and Ink all look like stable coins right now.
Right. A good bottom formation.
They all been running sideways. Like I said, it feels like it's complete market exhaustion on all the assets, which that's a good thing, guys. That's a great thing. So that means if you want to DCA, for me, DCA right now is beautiful. I've started my DCAing again. So, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Gentlemen, I have to jump off because I got something booked, unfortunately. But thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to the next one. Wish you all the best and a great weekend. Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Fast Abdul's got a very good point here, man. Buck's like the new leader of the ecosystem, and RH is Satoshi. That's it right now, man. He hit the nail on the head.
Cool, guys. Well, we've covered a lot of stuff today. This is probably a good place to wrap it up, unless you guys have any parting words. Otherwise, yeah, we'll go ahead and jump off. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for jumping on, Sloth. Always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for you guys in the comments. It was a blast to have everybody in and to be able to talk about the things that everybody's interested in. Go ahead, Corey.
I was going to say, Sloth, tell everyone where to find you at.
Yeah, so here on YouTube, Crypto Sloth, Sloth Crypto 3 on Twitter. If you go to my website right there, there it is. I always go on the wrong side. Cryptosloth.info, right there. Yeah. So that's my website. That's where I post a lot of different articles. The most recent one was about yield arbitrage with fiat. I think that one's been received pretty well. So go check that out if you like it. Throw your email in there to get those updates directly to your inbox. Got a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline for my website and my channel. I'm kind of revamping my workflow for content creation, trying to pump out a little bit more standalone videos, little higher value within a shorter period of time than me just rambling on for an hour on stream. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, have a good weekend. Catch you here next week.
Peace.